I just want you to start by placing one hand just above your belly button and one hand just on your breastbone. So feel a little bit of weight here with your limbs in contact with your body. And then I just want you to close down your eyes and start to breathe just naturally for you. So an easy inhale and an easy exhale. And really we'll just begin right now by sort of noticing our own breath pattern and breath capacity. Your attention is just inward towards you. What's important when we're doing a restorative style class is that we can allow noises or sounds or influences that are not sort of necessary to you right now to just fade away, so they don't come into your conscience, that you're just focusing on your breath and the feeling of your body and this feeling of presence. And that's what's going to connect us all to each other in this moment. So we'll start to direct a little bit of our breath down towards the bottom hand from here. And what that feels like is just a nice inhale to raise that bottom hand up. And then an exhale, you'll just feel it falling gently. And I like the image when I'm doing this diaphragmatic breath that my breastbone or my chest is quite weighted and quite heavy, so I have to send the air down to my lower hand. And there's not enough space to breathe up into the sort of balloons of your chest, that you have to send that breath down low. Just feel as you're breathing that you can almost make your exhale a little bit longer. So the quality of the exhale is a little bit longer. I'm just going to keep this breath going and start to allow the back surface of your body to sink a little bit deeper into the ground. So it's almost this idea that you're not holding yourself up at all, that there's no tension in your body whatsoever. You're just surrendering your system into the floor, and the floor comes up from under beneath you and supports your system, and you create this heaviness and you let go. We're just going to take 2 more breaths all together. There's no hurry. You just breathe at a pace that's comfy for you. Beautiful. When you're ready, again with no big rush, I just want you to release your hands so they're comfortable, and we'll take a hold of our right knee, and you're just going to draw it in towards your chest. Okay, and just give it a little hug towards you. You're going to hold that hug for about 3 seconds, and then it's like your knee wants to escape, and you press your knee into your hands and just let the thigh bone move away from you until your arms are straight. Then you go again, you pull with your hands, let the leg relax completely and soften in towards your chest. Then create a little bit of resistance, think shin towards hands and send that leg out and long. So just creating a bit of warmth in that muscle. Gentle bend, release the thigh, hug it in, and then pressing away. And you can create as much pressure there as you want within your own body. Bend it in, 2 more times, and then press long. On this next one, your last one, you're going to hug in and we're going to stay. And we'll just start to circle that leg. Nice and easy. You'll know the range that's comfortable in your own body here of circling that top of that thigh bone, the femoral head inside your hip socket. The more relaxed you can have your leg, the better. I'm going to go for 1 more. And then just hold right leg with the outside of right hand and take your left arm out to the side. And from here, you're just going to start to open out that leg towards the side, and you'll feel a little stretch through your inner thigh. Gently hug the knee up towards your underarm. So you've got high hip flexion. Cool. From here we'll release that off. And I just want you to take that right leg on top of your left leg as if you were sitting at the desk. So your legs are just crossed. Now we're going to go ahead and hug both of those legs in towards your chest. And you'll just feel a little gentle stretch coming in around the posterior part of your hip, so into your glutes. What I'd like you to do gently here is just very softly rock your pelvis forward and back. So your thigh bones will kind of move in and out a little bit. And it's almost again that sensation like you're not holding yourself up whatsoever. You're really soft, really just released into the ground. You might notice that that allows your hips to feel a little bit softer and a little bit more gentle. Beautiful. Let's release. Take your feet down to the ground. Unhook. Take your feet so they're together. And your hands are going to come out by your side. We're just going to let the knees gently go over one way. Doesn't need to be a big movement, just halfway is fine, and then take it the other way. And here, it's really nice if we can keep the insides of the ankles joined. So what that does is it keeps your femurs parallel with thigh bones. And then you get this beautiful movement through your lower part of your spine, your sacrum and your lumbar. Just gentle rotation movement. You're going to do one more each side. Take your time as you go. And just breathe naturally. And then come home and just settle. And we're ready to go on the left. So we start by giving left leg a little bit of love. Hug it in towards your chest. And you can do a little bit of a squeeze here. Let the thigh bone release in towards your belly. Then it's like your knee wants to go in the reverse direction. So press your shin into your hands and let your hands extend gently. Bend it in. Be gentle. Just take it as much as you know is good for you. And then extend out. Your arms will lengthen and your thigh bone travels away from you. Bend in through the leg. Just fold at the hip. And then extend out long. There's almost a nice feeling of shoulder stretch here, depending on how extended your arms go, or maybe that's just a demonstration of my tight shoulders. I don't know. We're going to do two more. Folding at the hip when the thigh bone comes in, and then opening at the hip as that knee joint slides away from you and into your hands. One more, creating a little bit of warmth, and out. Cool. This time your leg comes in, you want to feel as though you've got like coconut oil inside your hip joint, and you start to circle around. Okay. I almost like to challenge myself here with role play. So think about your arms doing the circle for your leg. So your leg is not very active here. Your leg is quite heavy and your arms are doing the movement. And that just helps to create that melty sensation inside your hip socket. Your circle is going to be at a range that's appropriate for you. Okay? So you don't need to push it, just let it be where you know your body needs you to be. From here, outside of left leg is held by left hand, and we open the right hand out to the side. You're going to open that leg. It's kind of up and over, so a small diagonal. Take a deep breath in, hold that stretch, breathe out slowly, the slower the better. Deep breath in. Cool, from here just gently allow that leg to we're going to fold the left leg on top of the right. And then gently hug both legs in towards you. Find a little bit of softness here and rock your pelvis forward and back. I like the image like I'm sitting in a desk chair. It's almost the feeling that you're just sitting there typing, doing your admin, but you're hugging the shape in towards you. And just let that assistance and that little bit of pull come into mobilizing the posterior part of the hip, the back of your hip. Nice and gentle, forward and backwards. And with this rocking sensation, what I'm used to is this idea that the body can almost let go. You want to give yourself that idea that that system or any tightness in those muscles is just able to release here as you slide in and out of stretch. Nice. I'm going to gently go for one more. Cool. We unhook our legs from here and place the feet back down on the ground. Exactly where we were before, our hands go out to the side. But this time, I want you to separate your legs so they go about mat width apart, at least the width of your shoulders. And you're going to let your knees fall over to the right-hand side. Once you get over there, just flop, let everything relax. And turn your head in the opposite direction for me. Take a nice deep breath in. Breathing out. What's lovely about this sensation or this feeling is the traction of the leg that's an internal rotation. So allow that femur to just spiral in and melt off the bottom of your pelvis. Big breath into your belly. Then breathing out nice and slowly. We're going to spin the knees up towards the ceiling. Very gently here. Transition over onto the other side. So it's external rotation in your right hip and internal rotation in your left hip. Just breathe into it and really let gravity do the work here. For most of us, it'll be in that left leg. Just getting that soft sensation or around the pelvis or around the hip. Nice. From here, we're going to let those knees gently come back up to center. Toe heel your feet into center. And we're going to bring ourselves up to seated. Okay. Whichever most graceful way you can. Now, come and take a seat on your mat. We've got some options of how you might like to sit. If you are long in the hamstrings, you'll be quite happy with your legs out in front of you. If you prefer cross-legged, just sit with your legs crossed. Nice. Settle into this position for me. I want you to reach your fingers gently away from your hips here and then just find a very gentle sense of length through the spine. You don't want to sit up totally erect, but just a gentle feeling of length. If you can press the palms of your hands from here forward, but feel the fingertips almost pointing back, you may start to feel a sensation up through your arms. It's that neural pathway. Okay, perfect. Everyone mute. But if you have a question, just come up to your phone, unmute, and then you're good to go. Happy? Okay, gorgeous. I'm seeing all these thumbs. That made my day. Alright, back out to this position from here. Now I feel like I'm all by myself because there's no background noise. Okay. We have a little neural stretch coming down the inside line of our arms. So heel of the hand is pressing forward, fingertips are pressing back. And I just want you super softly to tilt right ear towards right shoulder. Now this is going to bring on a stretch down the left hand side. Anytime we're working with the nerve system or the neural line, we want to keep moving. So just transition over onto the other side. Gentle length through your spine that's not forced. Very, very softly, ear to shoulder. And then up and over. Now, because this is an opposition thing, I want to start to encourage you to play with the opposite extremity. So when your head moves off to the right, just have a little lift and a reach out through your left arm. Wowza, what a feeling. And then up and over. And then you have a little play, like almost like I just wanted to reach over there towards the reformer and then come up and center. Now, slowly, as we do a few more of these, we're going to start to notice the sensation ever so slightly softening. If you are feeling that the sensation is a little bit alarming or it's super strong, I just want you to ease off the wrist position. Okay. I'd like to do one more each side after this one, so we're essentially into our final 3. Anytime you need to make an adjustment to your seated position, you can change where your legs are. Just be comfy. This is your last one. Cool. Let your hands rest. You're going to bring your fingertips to your shoulders. Lift of the elbows up, circle of the elbows out and around. Now here you absolutely have to let your shoulders lift up in order to get that range of motion in your shoulder joint. So it's like I'm doing an extra shrug at the same time. We go up, we shrug, and we let everything melt away. And start to become aware of your shoulder blades. So 2 triangular bones on the back surface of your rib cage. They are drawing a nice big circle as you take this movement. We have 2 more. Again, just breathing naturally, sitting naturally. Then reverse, so pause, elbows point forward, then allow the elbows to dip down, extend out and around, and come through again. So it's soft. Really encourage that movement. We're all trained to keep our shoulders back and down and flat. No, unlearn. We want to allow the shoulders to move. Let them shrug up, lift, let them widen. So important. Just get all of that natural movement back into your shoulder girdle. We have 2 more. Okay. From here, what happens is that your hands are going to interlace and they're just going to come and sit in behind your head. Now, I've essentially got my hands at the bottom of my skull. So if you sort of just push the back of your head and have a little wiggle, and then just get the hands pressing into the back of your neck softly, and then the back of your neck or the back of your skull pressing into your hands. So you've created a little bit of tension there. You're going to let the elbows come forward and together, and then just roll your gaze forward to look down towards your legs, and feel a little stretch as you continue to move forward through the upper part of your spine. So it's almost like you're rolling yourself up like a little red carpet. And then you release that off, and you're going to let the elbows widen, and I just want you to let your heart float up slowly towards the ceiling. Lengthen the elbows away from each other. So this is coming forward, this is flexion. We roll through the spine, chin to chest, elbows forward, curving the upper spine forward. It's almost like you're turning your body into a cannonball. Gentle stretch through the upper spine, and then you release, you re-step through the spine, widen out through your elbows. Just gently feel the chest opening as you lift your heart, and let your head just gently drop into your hands. And then again, coming forward. Elbows come either side of your temples. Fold that body forward. It's almost like you're letting the head melt off the top of the spine. Good. Then restack yourself. And really think of opening the very top front of your rib cage. So your fanning your chest open. It's like you're shining light out of your beautiful heart. And then again, release, chin to chest, sliding the elbows forward, melting forward. We restack. This is your last little expander here. Send your elbows up, forward, let the heart lift up and forward and open the front of your rib cage. Release. Have a moment of rest. I just want you to close your eyes. Just sit there and have a little squirm for yourself. Technical term, a squirm. Wiggle through your shoulders and your spine. And hopefully you're starting to just get a little bit more of a sensation of freedom in the upper part of your body and down into your pelvis, a little bit more space. Feel free to adjust your legs if you are getting a little bit tired of your position. I'm going to go legs in front, but you can absolutely stay cross-legged if you're comfy. If you find this a little bit tight on the back of your hamstrings, you can go into Z-sit. This is side bending, so this is a very traditional Pilates position. Across your legs the other way. So let's work into side bending, right side body. So that means right hand comes behind your head again. And I want you to take your fingers out to the position that we just had before. Start to create a connection between your bottom hand, your left fingers, and your top right elbow. And what happens is the top right elbow starts to reach directly up to the ceiling. It's almost like you can pull your lats and the side of your ribs up and away from that right hip. And then you're just going to gently let your left elbow drop towards the floor. Sometimes it helps you to lean to the side a little bit as well. You know you're in business when you've got a nice stretch coming through the side body. Now we're just going to soften out of there, come back up, and just transition over onto the other side. So we are connecting or lengthening the elbow away from the fingertips. Find that space. Then your top elbow moves skyward, and you feel this right hand just gently dropping down to the floor. Start to fan open through the left hand side of your rib cage. You might even need to bend the body or lean over to your standing arm. Good, and lift. Oh, change. Sometimes what can happen here, and I don't know if this is happening in your body, but the feeling of reach here becomes so intense that you're creating shoulder tension. So we're just going to go through it again, and I just want you to have that mental check-in. What is happening in my top shoulder? Am I lengthening so much that I've become rigid? As a ex-dancer, that is a real thing. You know, this kind of rigidity that we create when we're working so hard. So just let it go. It's last thing on a Monday for everyone apart from Hayley, which is first thing on a Monday. But still, you don't need to work so hard. So you might feel now that you're actually able to get more stretch because we've got an appropriate amount of muscular facilitation. There's an appropriate amount of work here for you to then be able to find more of that mobility focus. Gently lift. I'm going to make this our last one. Transitioning over. Soft side bend through the spine. Beautiful. Release. Okay. We're going to take ourselves onto hands and knees from here. So just come side on, comfy on your mat. Very, very conscious of wrist issues. So if you are a little bit sore in your wrists, please come back and give yourself a little break. Okay, this is not a test of your endurance, so let's let it flow. We're going to find a 4-point kneeling sort of start position, but this is very, very relaxed. So have your knees a little bit wider than you possibly would normally. And I just want you to begin rocking backwards and forwards here. Now it's really that forward position that's going to put tension on your wrist. So if you are a bit wristy, just go to neutral. Cool. What happens is your hips move back. It's almost this sensation that you could push the floor in front of you away from you. So really get that sense of stretch and activation in the shoulder. Then you slide forward and release, and then you slide back. And let the head dip down so it's nice and chill. For any of us who have done yoga, this is kind of child's pose prep. We just take 2 more. After this lovely second one, arrive back in your quadruped and you're just going to move through your side body again. So spin your gaze around to look behind you at one of your feet. And then I sort of want your tailbone to come around as well to peek in towards you. Then you go the other way. So you're getting this side body opening again. We felt this already when we were seated. But here, because you're on your hands, just let it wiggle, just let it move. You don't need to be aligned, okay? Just a little bit of alignment to keep you in 4-point kneeling. Last one. Come to center and sit back. From here, your hands are going to reach out gently and let your head rest down to the ground. One of my pet peeves in child's pose is having squished feet and ankles. So if that's you, I'm going to show you a modification. If you're happy, stay. The modification is to roll up the back of your mat. So you make this little sausage, and then the top of your ankles sit on the sausage and the toes just dip down to the ground, and then you won't feel that same kind of compression on the top of the feet. Find a little bit of stillness here. We're going to just take 3 beautiful big belly breaths. Now with this breath, almost create the sensation that you're letting your abdominal wall go so much to the point that your torso is carried by your thighs. It just slots in perfectly and you're just being propped up by your thighs. And if you almost release your abdominal wall to the point that you can breathe your abdominal wall into your legs, you might even feel this beautiful sensation that your spine is breathing, like intervertebral stretches are available to you with this total release of that anterior body, the front of your body, your trunk. Just hang out in this position for me and take a little rock of your head side to side. Check in that you are soft through the neck and the shoulders. And you're still in child's pose, we're just hanging out down there, rocking the head. And then we're going to start to snake through the body. So what that looks like is just widening your arms a little bit. And I just want you to rock your body one way and then rock your body the other way. And there'll be a little bit of gentle movement in your legs as well. That's it. Just make the position of your arms work for you here. If you want them wider or more narrow, there is no right or wrong. There's no technical perfection here. You just go inward and do what feels yum on your bones. I'm going to go for 2 more. Beautiful. Meet in the middle. Slowly, we're going to start to roll up through the spine. So just gently bring your body upright, one bone at a time. And we're going to come and hang out on our tummies next. So slide back on your mat. Just gently bring your torso down towards the ground. And from here, we're going to turn our head to one side and rest your hand underneath that cheek. So I have right hand underneath my cheek and left hand is free. Okay. So bend your left knee and we'll just bring the heel in towards the butt gently. And then ideally we want to come back and grab a hold of these toes. Now, is anyone unable to reach? No, you guys are good. Beautiful. So start to gently traction the heel in towards the buttocks. So you're just creating a little pull there. You can bend that back elbow. And from here, if you keep your hips steady by pressing your pelvis and your pubic bone into the ground, you can almost reach your knee joint away from your hip. And that's just going to deepen your stretch. Take a little breath in. Breathe out. This guy's a little bit more intense. Breathe out slowly. Feel a release. What I'd like you to do from here, we're working with the same leg, but we're going to change our arms over. So turn your head to the other side. Your left heel is going to sit on top of your right glute. You're going to turn your head away. So you've slightly externally rotated your thigh bone. And then you're going to do the same thing. Press the hips forward and down. Gently reach the knee away from the hip. And just traction very softly that heel in towards opposite glute. That's quite a different stretch, hey? A little bit more IT band, lateral quad. So that's all the outer part of the leg. Take a deep breath in. And breathing out, the slower the better. Last one. Cool. Softly release the leg. We're just going to hang out on our bellies for a minute with both legs out long. Have a little rock from side to side through your hips. Allow the head to come and rest on your hands. And I just want you to switch everything off here and see how you feel through your pelvis. You might have this sensation of that left side being a little bit softer or a little bit longer. Maybe it feels heavier. That lovely connection or sense of space that's been created through the hip flexors and the quad. Okay, whenever you're ready, let's even you up. So left hand is bent, head is turned around to the right. And I want you to draw in your right leg. Bring the heel in towards the butt. Take a moment to settle. And then gently start to traction through that arm by taking a small pull and sending the elbow up towards the sky. We press the hips into the floor and then we extend the knee back behind us, just gently. Anchor the pelvis by that pressure into the ground. Slow, steady breath. Feel that quad release. Now from here, we're turning our head to face the other way. You keep that leg bent, so right leg stays bent. Change your hands over, and then you're pulling that right heel very softly over towards left butt. Press the hips down into the ground, and gently extend that knee back. The softer the better again. You want to work as little as possible. Put as much effort in as necessary, but make it as little as possible. Feel that stretch, just letting go and draining. We'll take 2 more cycles of breath. Lovely long, slow exhales, just like your breath that you practiced at the start of class. you're ready, release. Let that leg come and just hang out next to you on the floor. We're going to place our hands from here gently underneath the shoulders. Have your eyes down towards your mat. From here, I just want a very soft, gentle lift of the eyes up to look towards the top of your mat. Then you're just going to relax everything, come straight back down, take a breather. And we go again, a little lift, and then we lower. So this is like a baby back bend. It's almost just the head, neck, and the shoulders. Okay, you don't need to exaggerate it. And it's really just to warm up those top few joints in your spine. Cool, release. Stay where you are. I'm going to spin and face you because I think it will help you to all follow what happens next. You're going to make your arms into a cactus shape or like a goalpost. So elbows out by the side at 90 degrees. And then we just lift the head, neck and shoulders up again into that little mini stretch that we had before. Now from here, we're going to look around to our left ankle. So I'm going to straighten out on my left arm and I'm going to turn my head and look behind me. From here, I'm going to release that all back down. Take a little breather, come to center, and we reset by sending the head, neck and shoulders up just part way, and then push your shoulder away from the ground gently by pressing into your hand and spin your gaze around to look at your back foot. Nice. Take a little release. Come on back through. So I almost feel when I'm doing this stretch that I'm having this little argument with the ground. I'm sort of pushing into the floor. I push my other elbow into the ground and I'm using that as a way to facilitate more spine movement. So be gentle, but also, don't be afraid to put a little bit of pressure into those arms to help you create the movement in your spine. This one is a little bit more complex. If you're not getting it, please sing out, unmute your mic, and come on up and tell me. We're going to do one more each side. Once you're home, it's time to reset. So gently bring yourself back into seated. We were in seated earlier and I just want you to revisit how you feel through your arms and your shoulders now. Have that professional wiggle. Things are starting to feel even more yummy. I want to move into a little bit of rotation from here. So I think a pillow is a really good idea. If you don't have a pillow, you are going to use the sausage that I talked you through before, so you can roll up your mat. Otherwise, couch cushion, pillow, just go ahead and grab something. Okay. Now, we are coming into side lying. This is dangerous. Good night. My pillow's not very firm. I want a bit more from it, so I'm going to half it. It's good to have a nice prop up for your head, okay? So don't be shy. Grab an extra pillow. Comfort is everything. And then reach your hands forward. You're going to have your legs tucked in towards your butt. And we're just going to place one hand on top of the other. Somehow we're probably active again in our body, so just take a nice big breath in, breathe out, and allow everything to go back to being lazy and soft and chilled in your body. I want you to slide your top hand forward from here and just let your eyes move in towards that pillow and just let your whole body roll forward a little bit. From here, you're going to extend your top hand over your head. And then you're going to start to move in a rotation to look behind you, and your arm has reached its way all the way around semicircle. Take a small breath in. Breathe out. Make that a lovely long breath out. And just let the back of your ribs sink and soften into this twist. From here, your hand is going to sweep up towards the ceiling and you're going to reset nice and steady, coming back to your starting position. Beautiful. We have 2 more. The slower the better. Extend the fingertips in front of you. Let the gaze just melt into your pillow. You're so relaxed here that you could almost let your tongue dangle out of your mouth and you could possibly start drooling on your pillow. Take a lovely big inhale when you get to your twist. Breathe out for longer than you breathed in. And we start to de-rotate. Spin the ribs around your spine, let the arm lift skyward. Find your hand back to your starting position. Third one's a charm. Extend your fingers forward. Reach your fingers up overhead. You're drawing a massive semicircle or half moon. Find your twist. And then de-rotate, nice and steady. Beautiful. You don't need to face the camera for the next side, so just go ahead and roll on your back, spin around and face the other way. When you get into position, settle in. You're here for a good time. So take a nice deep breath in and then use the breath out to just take all of the effort or the held posture out of your body, with the exception of maybe the underneath of your waist. We're in for this by extending our fingers forward, lengthen your hands in front of you. Let the face just soften and then start to send the hand up and above. Draw a little circle with your arm and your fingertips. Find a reach out on that opposite shoulder. We're taking a breath here, letting the ribs expand. We're breathing out, letting everything sink into the floor. And then we're lifting the hand up towards the ceiling, de-rotating your spine and returning back to starting position. Fingers slide forward. Fingers slide overhead. Really melty, really soft and passive. Just allow that shoulder girdle to pivot on itself. The hand moves behind you. Take a lovely big breath. Soften everything, and then when you're ready, lift the fingertips up through center. Take your time to reset yourself for number 3. Extending the fingertips forward. Rotating the spine as you send your hand up above your head. Feel a soft twist coming into the spine. A lovely breath in to expand your rib cage and your chest. And then a lovely breath out to melt into the floor. After that lovely release, find a lift through your fingertips. De-rotate through the spine. Beautiful. Just adjust yourself. You can keep your pillow, they're quite comfy. And we'll come onto our backs. This is where we sort of started class, which is nice. It's always good to be where you arrived about 40 or 50 minutes ago. Take your right leg in towards your chest. Hug your hands behind your thigh. So we've got this angle in our thigh at the moment towards your chest, and I really relationally want you to keep that as you do this hamstring stretch. So I'm hugging my femur in, and then I'm going to send my toes up to the ceiling, but I don't want my thigh to move, which means hello, hamstring. hamstrings. Then I bend again, thigh bone is still, and then I lift. Now we kind of prepped this at the start of the class. I'm sort of pressing my leg gently into my hands, and my hands are pulling my leg gently into my chest. And then my knee joint is going for a great old ride as it just bends and extends. Now you can either be a perfect Parisian can-can person and have your toes pointed, or you can be a total rebel or a football player and have your leg flexed. Each foot position is going to give you a different experience down the nerves in your leg. So you can just have a little surf, have a little feel through, scan your options, and see what's working best for you. If you're getting enough from this and you're really happy, stay. If you want a little bit more, take your leg up and hold, and then I just want you to move your hands up towards your calf or behind your ankle. From here, just like we did when we were on the floor before, you're going to slightly rock your pelvis forward and back. Now this is basically invisible. So I'm sticking my bottom out and I'm pressing my tailbone into the floor. This is a massive stretch, and then I'm releasing everything. Nothing's really moving in my body because it's so difficult to create this articulation in the sacrum based on how much mobility we have in the hamstrings. It's a good stretch. We're just going to take that 2 more times, a little rock and roll. If it's getting a bit much, you can absolutely go back to the variation we were doing before where you're just gently hugging the leg in and out. Like Rosie and Satna. Good. Nice, guys. Okay, hands out to the side, leg goes up to the ceiling, and I just want you to lower the heel down to the ground and gently lift back up again. And we don't want to be particularly held here, so my body is just kind of gently rocking and rolling. I sort of feel this little drop catch sensation. Yep. 3 more. We hold with the leg up to the ceiling. This is kind of a big guy, so if it's a bit much for any of us, just come into both legs held towards your chest. Okay. We've got our right leg up high. We're going to bring our left leg into tabletop. Cool. Your hands are going to move onto the insides of your knees. Now, like your favorite book, we're going to open up to your favorite page. Maybe it's not your favorite page. This is kind of intense, so I would move in and out. Legs come together, hands to the outer part of the leg, hands to the inner part of the leg, and then legs move apart. I would press more into the left leg to give yourself a counterbalance for the right leg. Chris, you might want to go legs up and down, so both legs together this way, in and out. Now that I'm seeing you in the middle of my screen. 2 more for us, guys. Opening and closing. Nice. Adductors, groin area, and the inner belly of your hamstrings are all getting a nice little release here. Okay, bend your legs, let your feet find the floor. We're going to flop in a starfish position for 2 twos. So once your legs go out long, just sway your pelvis from side to side a few times, close down your eyes, and just allow your body to, allow yourself to sense your body in space. And again, you might just sort of notice a little bit more room on your right leg, or almost the feeling like you don't have a hamstring anymore, or a glute. It's sort of like you've been rolled out. Nice. Stay in that nice gooey position for as long as you like. But when you're ready, I'm just going to return the feet bent. Feet are flat flat on the ground, knees up to the ceiling, and we're ready to go on the other side. So arc your left leg in towards your chest for me. Hands hug the thigh inwards, thigh presses gently into the hands, and then we send the foot up and we lower back down. From that technical perspective here, I was talking about maintaining the angle in your hip. So feel that you can keep that angle nice and steady as you sort of just floss this knee joint. Your knee joint is really the only thing that's moving here. Everything else is steady. We could all do to love our knees a little bit more. Just getting a bit philosophical on bodies right now. We all need knee love. Now, if you're quite happy here, stick with this. There is absolutely no rush. If you are ready for a little bit more, add on that ankle work that we did. So it's a toe point, which will just work on the anterior nerves of the leg, or a flexed foot as you work in and out of that hamstring stretch. And the flexed foot works on the neural line in the posterior part of the leg, so the back chain. Did I forget to mention that there's no expectation that your leg straightens? There is no expectation that your leg straightens. Better late than never. Okay, guys. Stay with this if you're happy. If you want a little bit more, we're going to take our hands around the back of the calf or the ankle. And this is our little invisible pelvis rock. So picture your tailbone at the bottom back of your sacrum, and then almost stick your bottom out and see if you can just send that tailbone into the ground and then release. And you'll hardly be moving, okay? I said that last time. It's really more of a sensation that you're creating in your body rather than a movement. Remember, at any point, if it's a bit much or the pull is really intense, I just want you to go back to that basic version that we did before. I think I'm going to go a little bit over time. So if anyone has a hot date, I'm just giving you a little bit, well, a hot date with your bubble. I'm giving you a little bit of a heads up. Last one here. So we're moving on to our inner thighs. Allow the right leg to come up into tabletop and the hands to come on the insides of your knees. If this one's not for you, just hug your legs into your chest and hang out. We're going to open the legs away from your midline. Press a little bit more into that bent knee to counterbalance the stretch, and then help your legs back up by coming around the outside of the legs. Chris, you know what to do here, hey? Hamstrings. Nice. I see that you're finding something new to do. That's good. And again, little opener. And little release. Okay, we have 2 more rounds. Keep it moving just to allow your body to stay away from a state of stress. You know, intense stretching can give you a state of stress, so we keep a movement going to create more flow in the body. I've lost count. I can't remember if it's 1 more or 2 more, but we'll just do 1 more. Cool. Allow your legs to come and find the ground. From here, you're going to let your feet extend out long. And you're just going to place your hands anywhere that is comfortable for you. So palms up to the ceiling is really nice. It opens the front of your chest and it kind of welcomes some energy into your body. Palms down to the ground is quite nice as well, just for kind of grounding you and having you feel secure. I just want you to close your eyes. And like we did at the start of class, allow your attention to come into your breath. And notice how the breath is feeling in your body now after this lovely stretchy session that we've all enjoyed. Often it feels a little bit easier in the tissue to expand, to welcome breath in. So I want you to invite that into your body. Just allow yourself to breathe with ease. There's no force or pressure to make yourself breathe in any certain way. And I just want you to start to feel that your microphones are all turned off so no one will hear, but I want you to feel that you can start to breathe through open mouth and open lips and just actually sigh a breath of release, sort of relief out through the mouth and through the nose, and then just sighing, almost yawning. And we're just going to start to really move our mind now into a body scan on the back surface of your body. So we'll start at the head, the uppermost part of the spine. Let that head sink down a little bit deeper into the mat. It's almost the idea that you're not holding your head at all. So you could imagine you're laying on the beach. I would have loved to have been on the beach earlier this week. And just let the sand kind of hold your head. And then you're going to keep scanning down your body and feel the back of your shoulders also just almost melting into the ground past floor level. And the same happens with the back of your rib cage. And you're connecting with your breath, so each exhale allows you to find this sensation of surrender or release. It's like a physical practice. You inhale and expand from the center, and then you exhale and sink all extremities into the ground. And I just want your awareness or your attention to trickle down towards your pelvis, down towards your sacrum. You might need to move through the hips gently just to make sure you're comfy. If anyone is a bit tender in the lower back, you're welcome to bend your knees. And just start to take that attention and energy through your legs. You can picture all of the muscles in your legs sitting around your bones, and actually just see that the sensation is really soft, that the kind of tenacity of that muscle is really soft. And come all the way down through your knees. Remember your knee love, down your shins, into your ankles. And just give your toes a little wiggle and your ankles a little spin around. And then you can do the same with your fingertips and your wrists. And what I'm going to do from here is end the meeting, and that basically just means that you can all stay laying on the floor for as long as you like. I really don't want you to feel that you have to pop up and say thank you. I'd rather that you just stay here. That would make me feel very happy. And just enjoy this sensation that you've created inside your bodies. And we'll all be in touch, probably tomorrow. Have the most divine sleep and the most incredible day. Thank you all so much for joining me here. I am so happy and so excited. Lots and lots and lots of love to you all. Hayley, have a beautiful day, and everybody else have a gorgeous sleep. So over to you. Stay